All right, hey guys, welcome back to Freedom Homestead. I'm Tangi, and sitting here to my left is our good friend Mike from Wilderness Survival Simplified. And you may recognize him from a previous video where he was sharing with us how to build and cook over a keyhole fire. So we really hope that you caught that you learned something, and that you try it. That biscuit was pretty good.
Thank you. I thought it was too.
It was delicious.
Compliments to the chef.
Yes, of course. Anyway, so today what have you got for us here, Mike?
Just some fire starting stuff. It's one thing to have a way to ignite a fire, but it's something else to have a way to sustain a fire, to be able to get something lit in a very rough or difficult situation. So just some things here that I recommend, some that I don't recommend, and so we're going to look at that. One of the main rules in any type of survival situation is the rule of 3. You've got 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. And one of the most important aspects of that is the ability to build a fire. You can cook over it, you can stay warm with it, you can dry your clothes out with it, you can boil water with it. So it's a very essential thing. And a lot of people think that just carrying a lighter or a couple of matches is sufficient. And it can be in pristine and prime conditions, but when you get into a position, most time if you're in a position where you're injured, or you're hurt, or you get lost, or you're in a survival situation, most time those conditions are not going to be perfect. And not only that, mentally and emotionally, we're not going to be in a state to be able to maybe do everything in an appropriate manner. So you want to have something that's going to give you an advantage. And a lot of these things that we have here, like I said, we're just going to show you, and I'll recommend the things that I think are worth investing. Some of these you can make on your own. And in my opinion, I think the ones that are homemade are just as good, if not better, than some of the ones that you can buy from different stores. But we'll look at these and we'll go through some of these. One of the main things that you want to do, and most everybody carries some type of little firebox. This is one that I carry. Of course, we have a flint and steel. Would never recommend using flint and steel unless it's an emergency. It's fun to practice with, good to know, and I would recommend that you know how to use this. But this, you need some type of you need something to be able to catch the spark that comes off. So majority of the people carry a piece of char cloth. What char cloth is 100% cotton that has been baked. In other words, you take a metal tin, and that's one of the things that, if anything that you see that I carry is of a metal tin. And the reason is it serves multi-purpose. I can make char cloth. If I have something that's 100% cotton, I can put it in here, put the lid on it. If it's tight like this, you want to put a hole in the top. But if it's something like a out towards tin, you don't need to put a hole in. A lot of people say that you should, but you don't have to. But then you just throw it in the fire, watch it until it quits smoking, and then you've got char cloth. And char cloth will take a spark pretty much from anything. And I recommend having char cloth or the means to make char cloth with you at all times. The next thing I want to talk about is using renewable resources. Pretty much everything we have here will eventually run out. One of the best things that you can use is the sun. If you've got char cloth, there are a multitude of different things that you can carry. This little kit that I have here, I'll look at it in a minute. This is what I keep in my wallet. I always keep a way to start a fire. Either on my keychain, I have one of these on my keychain, but this I keep in my wallet. But a good magnifying lens is excellent, because the sun, as long as there's still time, there's going to be sunshine. You can say, what about if it's a cloudy day? Well, then you need something else. But if the sun is shining and you can, I'll definitely use something like this, because you keep your resources. Now, it's not as easy to start a fire with this, but it is something that is feasible. You can also use what is called a little magnifying lens. They're just credit card size. You can buy them for $1 or $2 a piece. Some of the other things, of course, is a Bic lighter. And I'm not talking about a lighter that you can go buy for 50 cents. If you're going to spend your money on a lighter, get you a Bic lighter, because they have proven themselves to endure the rigors of life. And I really recommend Bic lighters. I have one in my kit. But the only thing with the Bic lighter, you eventually run out of fuel. Now, one of the things with this, you can take this cap right here off and then use your flint that strikes it to strike another piece, either a piece of char cloth or some of the other things you would have. It's very difficult. It's not the most economical way, and especially in a survival situation, it's not the convenient and most easiest way. So, but a Bic lighter is good to have. Now, I would use this along with some of the other stuff that I have because you want to make sure you've got fire, period. And so, you know, these are just ignition sources. Another ignition source, of course, is a Ferro Rod. This is just a cheap one from Amazon or eBay. I can't remember where I got it at. I'm not going to mention the name, but you can find these all day long. There are different companies that do them. They work if you have good sources. But if you look at the video where we bake the bread in the bush pot, you'll see that I struck this thing several times and it couldn't get the sparks that I wanted on a windy condition. Now, just imagine if it was wet and rainy. But I would recommend a good Ferro Rod. Now, these are made by Exotac. They're good. You can put them on your keychain. They're real easy. There's your striker.
Here, I can't see them.
There's your striker. And you just want to make sure sometimes you'll find the rough edge, and that's the edge that you want to use. Then you can just turn this around, and it comes out, and you got a Ferro Rod.
Oh, neat.
And just screw them back on and scrape and go. And they work decently. I mean, they are what they are. The only thing with Exotac, and I'm not saying nothing about the product, they have great products, but they are expensive. And, you know, I think that there are better options out there for the money, but they are good products. So they're built to last. It's all machine aluminum. They're bomb proof. So, but you pay for what you get. Now, if I was going to recommend, and this is one I recommend, this is actually the one that I recommend for my family. My daughter and wife both have these in their kits. I will not recommend anything else for them because I know these work. If you still have the video, this is what we use to start a fire there. This is from a company called firesteel.com, and it is this one that I'm holding is called the Armageddon. It's a Gobspark is the name of it, but it's amazing. I would use this every day of my life if I had to. This thing will last me forever. Most time they're anywhere from $12 to $18 a piece, depends on how many you get. But you can use it with gloves. It's got a great handle on it. You can use it with gloves. It's got a great scraper, and they just work. Now on this one, I put a piece of fire cord on here. So in this, I have the means of starting a fire along with the ignition source. So I have a surefire way to get a fire going. And that leads us to the next subject. It's called Surefire. And again, if you have any questions, they can put the links down in the thing. Surefire. One of the things that you see, and as I said, there's some things I don't recommend. If you go to Walmart or some of these other stores and you look for magnesium or a fire starter, a lot of times you'll find a little magnesium block that looks like this with a little ferro rod on top. Don't waste your money. They're useless. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to scrape that magnesium off. This is actually from firesteel.com. It's a softer magnesium. It scrapes a lot easier. And honestly, it's a better magnesium. It burns a lot harder.
Hold it closer.
But I still wouldn't recommend magnesium. Yes, it works. It does good. A lot of people, they've used them for years. But it's just an extra effort. And if the wind's blowing, it's going to blow your shavings away. So it's more for an ideal condition than anything else. But they do work. And there's a lot of people that swear by them. There's some other different things. This is just a package of waxed jute twine. This stuff you can make. I would not buy these things unless you just want to, if you don't want to make it. But all you need is go to Dollar Tree or somewhere, buy you a cheapest candle that you can find, melt the candle down, get you some jute twine, dip it in there, and you've got the same thing. And I'm telling you, it works amazing. I keep jute twine with me pretty much at all the time, especially if I'm going out into the woods, just because it works so well. There are different companies that make a lot of different types of Surefire. And what I mean by Surefire is it's something that's going to easily catch a spark and that's going to burn very hot for a very long time. Now, some of the most practical ones that are out there. This is called wet fire. And guys, this stuff is amazing. I have actually set this for one of my classes to show the kids and the adults. Put this in a bucket of water and lit it and watch it float just like a little boat around. This stuff will burn pretty much in any condition. Wow. But it's expensive, okay? It is not cheap, but it works great. Now, if you want the convenience of a single pack, now this thing, if I opened it up, it's a block and you can make several fires out of it. So that's a good thing of it, but it is convenient because it's in a simple pack. But I want to show you something that I like and that I use, and they're called Weber lighter cubes, and it is the exact same thing as this. Okay. And I can buy 24 of these for about the same price I can buy 6 of these. Oh, wow. Now, the only
they'll
thing,
still burn wet?
They burn wet, they burn anyway. Now, you can see how they come. These I've had used. Actually, this is what we give out to the kids and when we do survival classes, but I just put them in a Ziploc bag and they work great. But the Weber cubes are awesome. Yeah,
sorry, zoom in right, yeah, there.
Yeah.
They are pretty much identical to wet fire. And I'm not trying to put down wet fire. It's excellent stuff. But these work just as good in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're looking for a reasonably cheap alternative.
Yeah, a cheap alternative, yeah. And so these are by far one of the best that's out there. To me, it's not the best, but it's one of the best, and it's very close. Then everybody has seen the survival stormproof matches. If not, then just look them up on YouTube. You'll find thousands of videos of them. But these burn. You can't put them out. I've taken, dip them in water, pull them out, and they'll light back. These things are great. The only thing is they're quick. They burn up quick. Now UCO has some different type of matches that they made now with the same material as these. And one of the thing of it is you really can't light these without the striker that comes with these type of matches. So that if you lose the striker, then you pretty much lost your ability to start fire. These are excellent. I always try to keep something that has multi-purposes in them. These are the Baddest Bee fire fuses.
I don't know if I can zoom in on it or not. What's the brand name again? Baddest
Bee fire fuses.
Okay.
And in the video that we used to start the fire, this is actually what we used with the firesteel.com fire rod. But if I can get one of these out, it's just a piece of jute twine that has been infused with beeswax. So not only do I have a way to start a fire, but also have a way for chapped lips, or if my knife needs some little wax or something on it, I can use it for that. So this is a multi-purpose type of thing, and they burn excellent. I've got in this pack come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this little pack, and they're kind of expensive, but they're excellent. One of the things that I don't have, and I don't know if we've already mentioned it, but of course cotton and Vaseline work great. I wouldn't use Vaseline. If I was going to take cotton with me, I'd take a tube of Chapstick. That Chapstick can be used for medical purposes. Not only that, you can take a little bit of the Chapstick off your finger, mix it in with your cotton, light it up, and it does the same thing as petroleum jelly, because that's what Chapstick is. We'll go with this one. This is another one that I highly recommend. It's kind of expensive too, but it is, to me, it's well worth it. It's called Surefire, and the company that makes these has done an excellent job. You can see it's already been used. This thing has multiple uses. I can probably use this thing close to 100 times. Oh, wow.
It's like a gel?
It's a foamy gel. I really don't know how to describe it. It's Tangy, what would you call it? It's not a gel, it's a cloth type.
It's a cloth. It feels like a microfiber almost.
Yeah.
Like a mop microfiber strip.
But what you do with it, and never go out in the woods without a knife, you just scrape it, get some of the fuzzy up there, then take whatever you're using, light it, stick it into your fire bundle. When your fire is going, pull it out. It's still going to be burning. Be very careful. Take your lid, slide it back on, close it, and it'll go out. and then you use it again. Just be careful pulling it in and out of the fire, of course. It will be hot, but Live Fire is a great product, and highly recommend them. The next thing, I'm saving what I carry with me constantly last, because I guess you could say save the best for last. This is, it's called Mini Inferno. This is actually from Pathfinder's Dave Canterbury's store.
Okay.
Okay. This is one of the things that you can get. This actually is not what I thought it was. They make these little cubes. You can see this one's been carried around for a long time. They work a lot like the beeswax, but all it is cotton infused with wax, and I think they probably put some like paraffin lamp oil in it. And a lot of this stuff will show that you can make on your own. But this right here is in a tin. It's just cotton lint, and it has been infused with wax and with some type of accelerant. To make this stuff on your own, all you need is a little tin. Take your lint from your dryer, put it in a bag.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Take that, stuff that thing as tight as you can. Get your tins. I keep tins with me at all times, whether it's a Altoids tin or whether it's a little round tin that you can buy. But something metal, pack it in tight as you can. Take some hot wax and pour it over it and let it set and dry, and you've got some excellent fire tinder. So, you know, if you want to add accelerant, then just add just a little bit of paraffin lamp oil, and it will give it a little hotter burn. But this works good. Pyro putty is okay. I don't like it as too, it has too much wax. It don't have enough surface area. You can feel the difference in that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then feel the difference in this. If I can get this back open.
Use this hand with this dry. Yeah, like this just feels barely damp, and this just feels like putty.
Now, this will burn longer, but it's a lot harder to get ignited. And we actually was trying this out for the video where we baked the biscuit. I like the tin. That's really the only thing I like about it. But if I've got this and a lighter, then I've definitely got a fire. And there's multiple fires in there, so that works good.
Well, we've got a ton of dryer lint, so Parker and I need to test that out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dryer lint with melted
Paraffin
candle
wax. Yep.
Candle wax.
I brought this
paraffin.
just in case you wanted to do it, but this is my fire starting pot. And this is what I use is just wax. And like I said, you can either buy it in a bulk. You can go probably to any place that makes where you can buy candle making material. But if you don't want to spend the money, paraffin wax can be expensive. Just go buy you a candle. If you want it scented or colored, get that kind. It works. The last that I made was scented. It smelled like cherry.
I want a good smelling fire.
But the other thing that I want to say with Dave's company, with Pathfinders, they make it's a little disc, and a lot of you ladies will know they're cotton rounds like you buy in the makeup aisle. Take those cotton rounds, dip them in paraffin wax, and I'm telling you right now, it's one of the best fire starters by far. Because the outside, they're waterproof, they work in any condition, and they're very easy to get the fluff tore open where it takes a spark real easy, especially from a ferro rod. They work excellent. Now, the last thing that I would highly recommend for you to keep is called Spartan Fire. This stuff is amazing. It is 100% waterproof. It's wind resistant. This is actually trusted. This is what NATO uses. It is military issue. It's a special type of wax that is in this that doesn't melt when it gets to high temperatures. So that's the reason I keep this in my wallet. This is what I carry in my wallet, along with my ferro lens and a little firesteel.com ferro rod. And I am confident that with any condition I can get a fire started. This works a lot the same way as the live fire. You just cut you whatever piece you want, take your knife or something, and you rough it up. And I don't know if you can see how those little fibers, can you see those fibers?
Yep.
Okay, just do that. And if you have a lighter, of course, use a lighter first and foremost. But if not, you can use a Ferro Rod, and I'm telling you, it starts and lights up really quick, and it burns a very, very long time. This one piece right here would be enough for me to make several fires. But what I would do is I wouldn't try to use it. I'd sustain my fire. I'd keep my fire going, either little coals or something where I could use it. But this works excellent, and I keep that in my wallet constantly. So if I was going to recommend, if you wanted to go buy something, I do Spartan Fire, or I do anything from Dave's website. Great stuff.
And Dave, what's his name again?
Dave Canterbury.
Canterbury.
Y'all might know him. He was on Dual Survivor. He is a survival teacher, and excellent. I mean, he's a great guy, and most people that will watch this, if they're in a survival situation, will know who he is. But these things I'd highly recommend. Anything from Fire Steel. If you want the best Ferro Rod, I don't know how many Ferro Rods that I've used. I've used every one that I can probably get my hands on or could afford. By far, go with the Gobspark. It works. I mean, it's amazing the difference between this one and this one. Yeah, it's bigger, it does good. But I actually have a 6-inch that a friend of mine bought me from firesteel.com, and I was going to bring it, but we've moved and I don't know where it's at, so I've got to find it. But this is one I would highly recommend, because you can use it with gloves, you can use it in any condition. And I'm telling you, if you're in an area that has pine trees, get you some fat wood, scrape it down, and I've lit, I don't know made how many fires with this here with just nothing but just scrapings of fat wood, or just feather sticking a piece of fat wood. These are amazing, and I mean, we can even, I don't know if you want to, you can edit this out, but if you want to go out here and do a different demonstration of the different ones of them, we can definitely do that. But that's fire starting. Make sure you got an ignition source, something to light, whether it's this, whether it's a Ferro Rod, whether it's matches, whether it's something, you want something that's a good ignition source. Lastly, you want what's called Surefire. You want something that's going to easily take a spark, easily take an ember, take a fire, whatever it is, but it's going to be able to burn in any condition, and it's going to burn hot, and it's going to burn slow. That way, if you have wet wood, it'll dry it out first to start a fire. And then, as always, make sure before you ever build a fire, have everything ready. Have it right there. That way, you don't have a fire going, and then all of a sudden it burns out because you don't have the material. So, make sure you have everything ready before you start a fire. I believe in these things. This is what I keep. As I said, there's certain things that I have, and they will save your life. And I promise you, if you get out and practice with these things, just as with anything, having it is not going to do you a bit of good if you don't know how to use it. So get out. If you get into this stuff, get out and use it and practice with it and have fun.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was awesome. And again, like you said, we'll have some of these links down in the description box below if you want to check them out. And also, don't forget he doesn't have any videos up yet, but he will soon. So look for
Wilderness Survival Simplified.
That's it. All right, you guys. So thanks again, Mike, for being here and showing us all this awesome stuff. And until next time, remember to be vigilant, be prayerful, and be prepared. God bless. Goodbye. Here with our good friend Mike from Wilderness Survival. Okay, start over.
All right.
Wilderness
I was gonna
Survival Simplified.
I was going to tell you, but I was going to make you mad.
You would.
Stick some of this power put in my ear.
I don't like it when Mom and Dad are fighting.
I don't feel good vibes, man.
Okay. Wilderness Survival Simplified. Wilderness Survival Simplified.
Yes, ma'am.
Wilderness Survival Simplified.
What makes your garden grow? Water and sunshine. What makes your spirit grow? Knowing that she'll be mine.